Hey guys, welcome back to Hustlin' Horsepower. Here with
Maddy. Lady Gangster Racing.
There you go. You're getting there.
Let's go.
All right, guys, this is going to be part 2 as to why we don't really have intentions on racing the 34. With the new small tire rules and stuff like that, along with everything else, we're kind of in a little bit of a pickle here. So the new rules are basically outlaw small tire rules. The only parts on the whole car that need to be steel or factory is this part right here and this part right here. Okay, roof and quarters. Don't have to have the firewall in the factory location, which dictates the engine setback. You don't have to have the frame in the car. You don't have to have none of that crap.
Factory floor.
Factory floor, none of that. And doing so, that changes the whole aspect of how a chassis works, how you can make it work, and the different intricacies and details on how you can set the car up to make it run either more efficient, less weight, use the same amount of power, and be a whole lot faster. As far as what the rules used to be, they used to be stock style front suspension. So we had the drop axle under the car. The motor wasn't allowed to be set back. It was set at the firewall, at the factory firewall location where it was in the factory, so on and so forth. We did use a ladder bar setup on this because in some of the classes, parallel four links weren't allowed. So we're trying to start on Maddy's Wagon, but go on and tell them about.
A lot of the parts that we need to even get started on the project are like 4 weeks out. Some parts are 16 weeks out, 4 months out. So we can't really get started on the wagon if I can't have those crucial parts
to start on it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the way the wagon build is going to be, and it's not unfortunate in any way, shape, or form, we want that car to be nice. It's going to be our first hot rod. And like, to be her first hot rod, like, you want it to be cool. And that car's going to be fast, but like, it's not going to be mid-fours fast, at least not to start off with, because it's going to be a 4-door, 4-seater, like, cool car, something that you could toss the dog in, go to the dog park, and like, turn the radio on, cruise on, and like, if she want to do a sick week, she go drive the thing 1,000 miles. Or if she want to go to a race or something like that, she could toss pump gas in the car and go drive 1,000 miles. And that's what that car is going to be about. Like, it's going to have factory floors in it, and it's going to have a tubular K-member on it. That's one of the parts that we're trying to find, and we've been trying to source in secondhand or so on and so forth. It's just difficult. And so, like, it's just certain parts that you have to have in order of operations to build the car. And in doing so, to have the car nice like we want it, we can't start working on the main cage of it and then have to like tie into the front of the car in like a way that we don't really want to because we don't have the parts that we have. And like the rear suspension, you can't really start on the rear suspension until you know exactly where the rear end's going to play. And you can't really place the rear end until you know where the transmission is going to be. And you can't place the transmission until you know where the crankshaft center line is going to be. And you can't place the crankshaft center line is going to be if you don't know where the freaking K-member is going to be. So like, there's just so many parts that go into it that people don't understand. And like setting up all the angles and so on and so forth, it's a very in-depth process. And when we go to build that car, we'll try to touch base on that and stuff like that. But it's very hard to explain all the intricate parts as far as like when you build build a car. It's not a Mustang where you just like, you know, I don't know, buy some torque boxes and they give you a blueprint and they'll say, weld them in here. Like, it's not how that goes. So, unfortunately, the only real parts that we have to build another car right now is something like this. And another car that's gonna be competitive, that we can put together quickly, that's not, that doesn't have to be overly pretty. Like, rat rod style vehicle is another like 33 to 35, like Dodge preferably, and something that we could be in a reasonable weight that we could still have, run it with the factory firewall and part of the factory framing and stuff like that. So if and when the rule changes go back to what they used to be, we still have a car that we could run with. And like, but we have to be able to be in more of an outlaw form, or as close to outlaw form as we can be right now. We don't have the ability, like financially and so on and so forth, to go and build a complete outlaw car and go outlaw racing if the rules are going to change in a year or a year and a half or 2 years. Like, we can't afford to build a new car every year, whatever the hell it is. So this car's cool. It's a 4-door. It's going to be a fun cruiser. We might sell it. We might raffle it off. We might toss the LS in it that came in Maddy's, that we were going to do for Maddy's Firebird. Yeah. We got a lot of parts there, and I started accumulating some parts for that, and she started accumulating parts for that deal. We sold off some of those parts to help out a friend, as far as like the Terminator system and stuff like that, but I'm sure we could find another Terminator for the LS motor and keep it to be a cool cruiser. But there's certain parts that we need for Maddy's car that, due to all the delays and stuff like that, we simply can't get our hands on. So, I don't know. This rear end, we measured that up, and to put it under her car, like the offset for the wheels would just be like ridiculous. Wrong. And then even if we got, like, even if this rear end did fit in there, we don't know where to put the pickup points for the ladder bar setup. And we don't know where to articulate all that stuff until we get all the pieces in there and a mock-up motor in there and the front suspension in there and start working our way through the build. So, I don't know. You start talking for a minute.
I don't know. I think the cool thing is though, like, I've got parts on the way. I've started ordering what I can, and even though things are on back order, like, there's nothing we can really do about that. It's like that with anything you're trying to buy. But once the parts do start coming in, Nick and I can be working back and forth between the two cars, and I think it'll be cool to be able to simultaneously have build videos on both channels of each vehicle. So that's what I don't know. I think that'll work out good.
I think
once my parts start rolling in, we can start doing stuff. And tomorrow we plan on, it'll be a nicer day here tomorrow, and we'll plan on getting the car pressure washed and stuff like that. My floor should be in by the time we get back from Florida.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But like, there's certain, like, we could start cutting up her car and doing stuff like that right now, but then
I don't want to cut too much out of it and screw ourselves. You
cut it all up and stuff like that, and then you essentially just make a mess that you can't touch for 3-4 weeks or possibly months until you can start actually getting the pieces to start putting it back together. And for those people that have started projects and then they try to start working on them 6 months later, it just becomes a hassle. Like, if you don't consistently chip away at something, even if you, for the people that aren't able to spend as much time as we do doing this stuff, like, this is what we do. But for the people that can't spend that much time, like, even a half hour here or a half hour there, or getting in the garage for a little bit, it keeps chipping away at things, okay? And like, you can't always just go in and like just take a big chunk out and, like, I don't know, bite off more than you can chew. And it would almost be in that predicament if we started chopping the car all up and then we're sitting there waiting for parts, because then it just becomes stale. And not necessarily stale like in a way that's, you could get lost. You don't, to keep the, I don't even want to say momentum going.
The train of thought. The
train of thought and like the build process going. It's very hard to walk away from a project for X amount of time, whether it's, you know, a personal delays or financial delays or parts delays or any type of delays it may be. It's very hard to walk away from a project and then get back on it at the same step that you were walking on. It's almost impossible, and there's not many people that can do it. And when you take a break, whether it's intentional or unintentional, it just makes it difficult. So this car is too cool to cut all up. So we might just like turn this thing into a cruiser and just a fun car. we're gonna try to make it to sick week. Probably not gonna happen. We gotta leave in 4 days. Maddy's gonna be, right after we film this here, Maddy's leaving to go pick up some material and some material basically. So we can start doing the tin work and stuff like that. And I'm probably not gonna go to bed until I have the whole tin work in the back of the car done. And hopefully have the seat mounted as well. Try to pick up some templates too. Some car poster
You need
board.
more of that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're probably gonna go down to sick week. We'll have the Optic Armor roof in it and the windshield in it, but we'll probably go down there with no windows in the thing and stuff like that. It's gonna get down to 50 degrees at nighttime, but it'll be 70s or 80s during the daytime. And Rex will like the wind blowing around in this air. But, we got the bench seat for it, and we got a lot of parts for it. But I don't know. All the fabrication's done in the back, besides a couple of tabs and stuff like that, and I'll get that done for mounting, finish mounting the radiator, and finish securing the fuel cell and stuff like that. But it just is what it is. So yes, all of you people that are complaining and saying Maddy's car is getting delayed, yeah, it is. But it's kind of out of our hands. Like there's just, I don't know. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. Like, yeah, other stuff's gonna have to get pushed forward, or get pushed.
Put in front of it.
Yeah, the timeline's got to change, but
But if I don't have parts, it makes no difference what we do.
her timeline's not moving. Put it that way, okay? You can't work on something until you get the parts, and we can't. There's parts on this car that we're able to build, as far as rule-wise and so on and so forth. I can't go build a one-off K member for that car because it's illegal in some forms of racing, okay? Because that car's gonna be like legit. It's gonna be very factory-ish. Did that sound right?
That's like my skinny, thick weld, or whatever I said. Do you remember that?
Well, yeah, because it was skinny and thick.
Yeah, and you had.
Because you had no heat in it, and you're just dropping the puddle on top of the metal instead
That's
of
what
like
I was
putting it into it.
asking, and you were like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. It's two exact opposite things."
Okay. Stockish. That could be the name of it. No. But we don't want to cut, that car's not going to get all cut up, and like, I don't feel like a wagon like that could easily, or as easily, go as fast as we need to go as, like, for the budget at least, as something like this. And I don't know.
Ready to wrap it up?
What?
I just sell
We're not selling my wagon.
He wants to buy the wagon. He's been asking her since it like came out of. I don't
It wasn't even out of the trailer.
It was
Since
still in the
day
trailer.
I
He's
bought
like,
it
you want to sell
home.
this thing? You want to sell this thing? No. It's gonna be your first hot rod. He'd probably just put like a, I don't know, V6 in it and be like, hey, look at me. I got plenty of room for my big girls in the back. That's the tow truck driver from the last video. We could just put one big mattress for her back in the back seat. So what else?
I think that's it.
Is that a wrap?
Yeah.
So guys, I guess that's gonna be a wrap for this video. We appreciate everyone that supports this journey. It is a journey, if nothing else. Close it up.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Come on.
I don't know. These are your videos. I hate.
You're part of it.
I know.
So
I
get to
gave
talk.
my 2 cents.
Well, then at least close it up.
What? Follow the channel. Subscribe to the channel.
No,
and
talk to the
answer.
people.
But I'm talking to you. That's how I. That's
No.
how I am.
But the thing is, you're talking to the people because the people are the ones that are watching the videos. I hear you jibber jabber all day long.
I am not the talker in this relationship.
Okay, whatever. So guys, I appreciate it. You don't have to follow Lady Gangster Racing because she's not gonna give a shout out to herself. But
I just said that.
no. We appreciate everyone that likes and subscribes to the channel, supports this journey in any way, shape, or form. We will be heading down to Florida one way, shape, or another. We might have the car with us. We might not have the car with us. We might be taking the toter home with the 24-foot trailer. We might be taking the toter home with the stacker trailer. And we might be selling the toter home and stacker as a unit when we get back. Simply because we were supposed to be racing this whole winter, and that was the main purpose of getting the stacker and the toter, was because we're gonna be living on the road, racing.
Yeah, before the accident, that's what.
Yeah.
We had the truck because we expected to be racing a lot more.
We had a race car at that point. That was cool and had potential and like was doing all right. We were starting to get in our groove. And someone else getting our groove.
Essentially.
Essentially.
So. Truck and trailer will be up for sale probably.
Probably. And we'll possibly be looking for some property, a couple acres. Want to talk about that? Talk about it real quick. Go on.
We're somewhere between maybe southern Ohio and Kentucky or
The Carolinas.
the Carolinas.
I really like the Mooresville area, Mooresville, North Carolina area. There's a lot of industry, a lot of racing stuff going on down there. Guys, we can't just go buy like a freaking nice house and nice shop because like that just don't make sense to us. But if there's a piece of property that has like doesn't even need to be like real close to the city or anything like that, we don't want it real close to the city. But even if it's just a piece of land that has water, sewer, and electric on it, and we could put up a shop or something like that, that'd be sufficient. But I don't know. If you know of some areas coming in up for sale in the near future or like off market type stuff, let us know.
Yeah.
We need at least a couple acres. So then we could put up a big building, maybe a little modular home or do a barn-dominium type deal.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be cool. So guys, we appreciate it. Thank you. And I know the last couple minutes of this video was a little bit slow, but we appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And hit it, babe.
I don't know what to say. Follow and subscribe to the channel.
Hey guys. Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Hey, give me your blonde hair so I can be like, hey guys, thanks for subscribing. Me and Nick appreciate the support.
This is
And that was perfect. Hey guys, thanks for subscribing. Me and Lady Gangster me and Nick appreciate the support. I'm gonna be working on some jewelry stuff here and some other stuff, and I'll be getting out my line of merchandise here before too long. So,
hopefully.
Follow along. It might be for sale on the Hustlin' Horsepower website, or we might even come up with our own website to purchase some Lady Gangster apparel. We appreciate it, and we hope to see you all in Florida.
Exactly.
And I bought Nick those pink Crocs, so don't make fun of them too much for that.
They're
actually
not pink.
They're actually red. I told you they're pink.
They're not pink.
They're pink,
They're not.
bro.
But you know
That
what?
toolbox is red.
Donnie sent me a link to these like little attachments that go on the back of the Crocs.
The wheelie bars.
I thought it was a wing.
Oh yeah, he had wings.
It's a wing. I was like, I need to buy those for Nick.
So I could have pink Crocs or wing on my pink Crocs. All right, guys, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Go end it. Go pick up some material.
Okay.
I'll give you my phone.
No, I'll send it to the computer.